Special thanks to Patreon supporter Moss for making this tutorial possible. Hello ladies and gentlemen, Security here bringing you another Minecraft Modern Warfare back to build tutorial. In this tutorial we'll be going ahead and building the Independence class Littoral combat ship. The Independence class is a class of littoral combat ships built for the United States Navy. The whole design evolved from a project at Ustal to design a high-speed 40-knot cruise ship. The whole design evolved into the high-speed trimaran ferry HSC Benchuga Express, and the Independence class was then proposed by General Dynamics and Ustal as a contender for a Navy plan to build a fleet of smaller, agile, multi-purpose warships to operate near shore in the littoral zone. Initially, 2 ships were approved to compete with Lockheed Martin's Freedom class design. Despite initial plans to only build ships of the winner out of the 2 competing Independence or Freedom classes, in 2010 the Navy announced plans to order up to 10 additional ships of each class for a total of 12 ships per class. In March 2016, the Navy announced their intention to order an additional 2 ships, increasing the order to 13 ships of each class. It was announced on early September 2016 that the first 4 vessels of the LCS program would be used as test ships rather than being deployed with the fleet. This includes lead ship Independence and Coronado. As of May 2019, 9 ships have been commissioned. In February 2020, it was announced the Navy plans to retire the first 4 LCS ships. On the 20th of June 2020, the U.S. Navy announced that all 4 would be taken out of commission in March 2021 and will be placed in inactive reserve. So yeah, the Independence class, littoral combat ship, pretty interesting looking ship here, and just very unique for the type of ship it is. A trimaran, you don't really see too many of those in the kind of military world as a combat vessel, but this ship here is pretty cool. It has a pretty small draft, which makes it perfect for operating in kind of near coastal regions where you might have pretty shallow waters you need to operate out of, and this here just kind of helps bring more mission capabilities to supporting troops and stuff like that in, hostile environments on the shore. Overall, pretty cool build, and this is a redesign for it, so this will replace our older, outdated design we have for the Independence class, so definitely a huge improvement compared to the previous version. Before we go and jump into taking a look at the build, though, I do want to go ahead and give special thanks to Patreon supporter Moss for making this tutorial possible. If you guys are interested in making supporting the channel more here, I do feel free to check my Patreon page. Link is always in my video descriptions, where you can go and post a small amount to the channel every month, and in doing so, earn a viewer request you're choosing depending on your tier. It really helps support the work I do directly, and you get the added benefit of a viewer request that you really want per month you're a patron. So definitely feel free to check that out. Again, link will always be in my video descriptions for that program. But with that, though, let's go ahead and dive in here to take a look at the Independence class littoral combat ship. So starting off with, very clearly we can see the trimaran hull. So again, you can see it's got basically the center hull, and then it's got these 2 little segments that come out to the sides, making it basically 3 points of contact with the water, so a trimaran type hull. We have the front of the ship here, nothing too fancy, equipped with a gun up on the front here. Don't remember the exact size of the gun, but probably pretty standard compared to what's on the Arleigh Burke and Ticonderoga and stuff like that. We then have the missile kind of pods here, so for its cruise missile capabilities and all that stuff. We have the bridge of the ship, which is really sleek, kind of built into the whole of it. Really like the bridge on the Independence class. And then on top here we have the all the communications equipment, the radar, and basically its main mast right there. As we work our way back, we have the CWIS system here on the back. So again, for that protection against incoming missiles and stuff like that. And all the detail on the sides here. Again, nothing too fancy. It's again a modern ship, and the modern ships really do not have a whole lot of detail in terms on the outside of them, just because there's such a flat surface and designed to help, mitigate radar signatures. But yeah, we have pretty minimal detail here on the side. We have the little sections here where you can have deployed rafts and stuff like that for crews. And on the back here, again, nothing too fancy. We have the propulsion down here, and that's pretty much that. It also has the flight deck here for the helicopter complement it carries. And on the side here, again, we have more of the detailing. This side here does have a little crane for the raft, so I went ahead and put that on there as well. But yeah, that right there is pretty much the Independence class, or USS Independence. Overall, a pretty cool looking ship and a very unique one, to say the very least, in the Modern Warfare combat scene. Without further ado, though, let's go and move into the tutorial by beginning with our first layer. Layer number 1. Alright guys, so going ahead and getting started with our first layer here, we'll go ahead and start off with layer number 1. Now for our first layers here, I do want to go ahead and mention a few things. So for the first few layers, the way I like to structure these first layers is I like to do half on camera, half off. What this means is we're going to be building the entire center line of the ship, and then we'll be building the entire right side. It'll be up to you guys in between layers to copy the right side over to the left side. It's pretty straightforward, and we'll just kind of help speed up the first beginning layers here. And once we get into, I would say the ship really isn't too complicated, but one of the more difficult areas, which will be basically around layer 5 or so, we'll be going ahead and basically doing those layers all together. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started here. So to make sure that we build this correctly in the water, you do need to make sure that you build this, obviously, a certain height. So this right here, layer 1, is going to be level here with the water. So you can see the blue concrete there will represent your water level. And you'll want to make sure that this layer here is level with it. So the top of these red concrete blocks should be poking out a little bit above the water. Very important to make sure that's correct, because your ship will not sit properly if you do put it in the water, which I imagine a lot of you guys are probably going to want to do. Though after we have that done, we can go ahead and get started. We're going to start off with placing down a brick slab, and then we want to place down a long row of red concrete. This right here is going to be a row of 18 after that brick slab, and then we're going to place down a row of brick top slabs. This here will be a row of 7. After that's done, we're going to then go to our last red concrete block. We're going to place our red stained glass painting to the side, and then we're going to go forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like that on the side. And we then want to go ahead and go to our 1, 2, 3, 4, our 5th red concrete block from the front, and we're going to place down a acacia wood trapdoor to both sides of it like so. After that's all done, we then want to go ahead and skip a space coming off this second glass pane. So we're going to place a block, build out to the side, and then a brick top slab. We'll then delete this block, and we can go ahead and then build back from the brick top slab with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 additional brick top slabs, so you have a total of 11. And then taking our acacia wood trapdoors, we're just going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 acacia wood trapdoors back. And once you have that all done right there, you're going to take the same design copied over to the right side, or sorry, the left side, and taking a look at it from above. This is what it should look like for the top-down view. With that though, that's going to do it for layer number 1. And with that, let's go ahead and move on to our next layer. Layer number 2. Moving on to our next layer, we have layer number 2. For layer 2 to start off with, we're going to go and go to this first red concrete block here in the front. We're going to place down a stone upside down stair. Going back from that, we're going to place down a row of stone full blocks, which is in total going to be 24 blocks in length, going all the way back to this last brick top slab. Coming off that stone block, we're going to go ahead and also place down a dark oak fence gate, like so. With that all done, that's going to do it for our center line. We're going to go back up to our front. We're going to go ahead and go to our 3rd, 4th, and the 5th stone blocks back. We're going to place down iron trapdoors on the side there. We're going to leave those for right now. We're going to come back to those in a second. We then want to place down 2 light gray stained glass panes, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. And to set walls back, a dark oak fence gate, and we're going to open the fence gate toward this wall, like so. After that's done, we're going to go and take our stone blocks, and on top of this brick top slab, and all the way back to that last acacia wood trapdoor, we're going to place in our row of stone blocks. So this is going to be a row going all the way back, like so. And after we have that done, we're going to go ahead and focus our attention back up here to the front. Now for us Java players, we can type in the command /give Minecraft :debug_stick. By pressing enter, you'll get this glowing stick here. Now, we can use this stick to actually manually close the iron trap doors. If you're not on Java and on Bedrock or Pocket Edition, I'd recommend instead of placing iron trapdoors to use birchwood trapdoors instead, or just disregard the trapdoors altogether. Kind of up to you guys and what works best for you and your version. But again, we'll be using our debug stick here on Java to left click the iron trapdoor until we get selected open false prompt pop up. We'll then right click and it should say open to true, and it should close those trapdoors and lay them flat against the side there of those blocks. So just a nice technique there to kind of improve our build there, and again, you can use an alternative there if you didn't have a debug stick. Anyways though, with that, let's move on to our next layer, layer number 3. Moving into our next layer, we have layer 3. For layer 3 to begin with, we're going to go and place down a stone block on top of the stone upside down stair. We're going to go ahead and place down a stone upside down stair coming off that stone block going forward. And on the very front here, we're going to place down an item frame with a crossbow in the item frame, rotated facing downwards like so. After that's done, going ahead and going back from this first stone block, we're going to go ahead and place down an additional line of stone blocks. That's going to go all the way to the back here for a total of 24. So it's going to end on top of this block here on the very end. And right there is going to be your center line there for the ship. Going to the sides, we're going to go ahead and go to our second stone block here. For the front, we're going to place down 3 light gray stainless panes going back, 2 andesite walls. We're going to go and then follow it up with a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19 stone blocks back, and then a light gray stainless pane on the very back here. After that's done, going back up to the front, we're going to go ahead and go to the third stone full block. We're going to place down a stone upside down stair, coming off the side there. And we then want to take these upside down stairs, and we're just going to run this all the way along the side here of the ship. So it's just going to go all the way back. Again, make sure they're upside down. And a little bit of a weird way to place them, but unfortunately, just kind of the way it is. And this is going to go all the way back till you get to this last stone block right here. And then we're just going to place down a light gray stainless pane there. An item frame coming off that glass pane, a black concrete block, and then if you're on Java, we can go ahead and also place a birchwood sign on the side of this glass pane. Now, when it comes to placing these item frames and signs, this is a feature only available on Java. If you're on a different version, you will not be able to place item frames and signs in the same block space. If that's the case, just go ahead and place down the item frames, not that big of a deal, and disregard the signs. With that done, going back up to the front here, we're going to go and grab our andesite walls and start on this stone full block. We're going to place down andesite walls all the way along the side here. For a total of, let me just go and double check our total here. It's going to be a total of 12 walls in total. We're going to go ahead and then take our item frames. We're going to go and go to our 4th and 5th walls. We're going to place down 2 item frames like so. And in those item frames, we want to go ahead and place down some gray concrete. So like that. And then again, if you're on Java, we'll place our birchwood signs on the side there as well. We'll then go ahead and go to our last 2 walls. And right here is kind of optional. If you do want to have the crane, like we do on the left side here, you can put this on both sides if you want, or just have it on one side like I do. Kind of up to you guys on what you want to do. But you can go ahead and place down the item frame with the gray concrete and the birchwood sign, and then a skeleton skull. However, if you do not want that crane, you can just go ahead and place down 2 item frames, 2 gray concrete, and 2 birchwood signs there on the side of those blocks like that, again, for Java players. And after we have that all done there, we'll very simply just take a gray bed. We'll place a gray bed in this section right here. And we'll also place down a polished andesite top slab. You can also change the blocks here behind the bed and polished andesite top slab to gray concrete to kind of create a little bit of a darker color. Actually, my bad, we cannot actually do that. It's actually stone stairs. So we're just going to go ahead and actually leave it as is. Forgot that's the reason why we didn't do that, to kind of show the shading. But yeah, so you do want to keep those stone stairs intact, so we'll leave that as is. And then very simply, we're just going to grab an andesite wall and place it down, coming off the back here of this stone stair, and then a light gray stainless pane there in the corner like so. With that all done there, that is going to wrap up what we have there for layer number 3. Again, here's a overview of what it looks like from the top-down view. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving into our next layer, layer number 4. Alright guys, so moving into our next layer, we have layer number 4. For layer 4 to get started with here, we're going to place down our iron trapdoor on top of the stair here in the front. We're going to go ahead and place down a daylight detector, turn that daylight detector to the night mode, so this light blue color. We're going to go ahead and place down a stone slab, and then right here, if you're on Java, we'll place down a piston. If you're not on Java, we'll be going ahead and just using a stone stair or a stone full block. Either one of those will work as an alternative to the piston. After that, though, we want to go ahead and then take our stone blocks. We're going to place down a row of stone blocks. That's going to go back a total of 13. So back from that piston or that block right there. So 13 stone blocks back. And we're going to go ahead and place down a row of gray carpet, or gray wool, sorry. This is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 gray wool, and then a smooth stone block here on the very end. After that's done, for our rows out to the sides, we're going to go ahead and start off by taking our light gray stainless panes. We're going to place down 1, 2, 3 glass panes like so, 2 andesite walls, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stone full blocks, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 gray wool, and then another stone block here on the very end. Our next row is going to go up to this section here. We're going to place down a light gray stainless pane in this corner, or to the side here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17 stone blocks back. After that, we're going to go take our light gray stainless panes, going back up to the first stone block. We're going to go ahead and place down light gray stainless panes all the way along the side here of the ship, going all the way back to the second to last block here. And then we just want to place down a skeleton skull. Come off the side of the stone block. That'll be the same thing there on both sides. At this point in time, if you do have the crane on top of this skeleton skull, we're going to go ahead and very simply place down an end rod. If you do not have the crane, we'll go ahead and grab ourselves item frames, and we're just going to go ahead and place down 2 item frames here, and then we're going to go ahead and then place down gray concrete in those item frames, and then birchwood signs on the side of those glass panes again for Java players, and same thing will be done up here. We'll have 2 of these item frames and birchwood signs like that. And with that all done, basically the last thing for us to do is for Java players is we'll take our debug stick, we'll go up to this piston, and we can just go ahead and left click it until we get selected extended false, right click it, and it will get rid of that wood portion and help with the front slope there. Anyways though, that is going to complete what we have there for layer 4. With that, let's move on to layer number 5. Alright guys, moving into our next layer, we'll be going ahead and moving into layer number 5 for the build. This layer we will be doing all together as we start to get into, I would say, not really complex things, but just kind of doing all the decking and superstructure, so there's a little bit more going on here, so it's a little bit easier to cover it all together. And we just to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to place down a stone brick wall on top of this second stone block. We then want to place down an end rod coming off this stone brick wall here going toward the front. Behind that, we're going to place down a gray carpet. Now right here, if you are not on Java, I would recommend probably using a stair, a stone stair, a stone brick stair instead. If you're on Java, however, we can modify this wall to actually make it look really cool and actually look pretty fitting for the gun. To do this, we'll go ahead and left click our wall, and we got to figure out what direction our ship is facing. Now for you guys, your ship might be facing a different direction than mine. Mine's going to be north to south. What we're going to do here is we can actually, once we figure out what direction it is, we can extend the side of the wall to go and look like it's connecting to a block behind it, but it's not actually a block there. And we can go ahead and basically right click this twice so you get the tall version. So it sits tall there on the back. So again, just like that. We'll then go ahead and go to our other direction, which for me would be south, and we can go ahead and then just right click this once and you get the lower wall. So it kind of creates a little bit of a shape there for the gun. Looks really nice and fits really well for the build. So again, a nice design there. Again, a good alternative is to use a stone stair of some sort instead if you do not have a debug stick. We can then place down a daylight detector here. We'll leave it on the day mode, and then a gray carpet behind that. We're going to then place down a row 3 of stone blocks across, and then we want to go and then place down a row 4. We're going to place down a second row 4, row 5. So second row 5. We then want to place down a tripwire hook on the sides here. And then after that, we're going to then place down another row of 5 going across, and then another row. So you have a total of 4 rows of 5 so far. On these last 2 rows here, we're going to place down item frames with gray concrete in those item frames. And again, for Java players, we'll place a birchwood sign there on the side of those blocks as well. With that done, we're going to go ahead and then place down a 5th row of 5 going across, followed by a 6th row. And this last row here is going to be a stone block on both ends. And then we're going to go and grab our smooth sandstone. We're going to place down a row 3 of smooth sandstone slabs across the center there like so. Then to the sides here, we're going to take our skeleton skulls on the last 2 sections here. We're going to place down 2 skeleton skulls on both sides there for the build. So it should look like something like that there on this, from the side. At this point in time, we have basically all of our flight deck markings. We'll grab some gray carpet, white carpet, some birchwood buttons, and some yellow carpet. We're going to go and start off by placing down 2 birchwood buttons going down the center. Then we want to place down 2 gray carpets coming off those buttons to both sides. Then we want to place down a row of 5 of white carpet going all the way across. A birchwood button in the center here again with 2 gray carpet to both sides. We then want to place down 3 yellow carpet, gray carpet on both ends. And then we're going to go ahead and go back 1 and 2 yellow carpet from both ends, and then 1 there in the center. See that 3x3 square there. And we're just going to place down gray carpet to the sides. In the center, we'll also place a birchwood button. Then continuing back, we're going to place down 2 more birchwood buttons down the center. Then 2 gray carpet, again out to the sides there from those birchwood buttons. And all the way across the back here, we're just going to place down a row of 5 of white carpet, like so. And that right there will basically create the markings there for your flight deck. At this point in time, also, if you do want to build the crane, or if you have the crane, we will kind of go ahead and expand upon that. So if you are not on Java, we'll place a skeleton skull and then an end rod coming off that skeleton skull. However, if you are on Java and you have the debug stick, we can go ahead and use a little bit better of a technique. This right here will involve placing a block that's kind of up into the side there from that end rod. We'll place a lever on the side of that block. We'll use our debug stick, left click the lever until we get selected face, and it should say wall. We'll right click it until we get selected floor. and it should be on top of this end rod, and then we can go and then do selected facing by left clicking and then right click it until we rotate it face direction toward the rear of the ship. And we can go ahead and then place down an end rod coming off that like that to make our crane. So with that out of the way, that is going to conclude what we have there for layer number 5 of the ship, and with that we'll be moving into layer number 6. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 6. For layer 6 to get started with here, we're going to place down 1, 2, 3 light gray stainless panes across the front here. We're going to place down 3 item frames. In those item frames, we're going to place down black concrete, and we also want to go ahead and grab our dark oak wood signs, and we're just going to place down a row of 3 across. To the sides here, we're going to place down another item frame. This is going to be followed up with a black bed in the item frame, rotated so the pillow is facing toward the rear of the ship. Same thing over here as well. Like that, and then we'll just place a dark oak wood sign on the side there again for us Java players. We then want to go ahead and take our stone blocks. We're going to place down a row of 3 going across behind those glass panes, and then another glass pane to both sides. We'll then place down a row of 5 of stone blocks across, and on the side here, this row of 5, we're going to place down an item frame, a black bed, rotated to face with the pillow facing toward the rear, and a dark oak wood sign on the side there. Same thing will be done over here on this side as well. So just like that. After that's done, we want to go and then take our stone blocks. We're going to place down another row of 5. So you have a second row, then a third row, then 4, and then 5. And then this last row back here is going to be a stone block on both sides. And we're going to go and then take our smooth stone blocks and just place down a row 3 across the center there like so for the back. And with that all complete, that is going to basically wrap up everything we have there for layer number 6. And with that, we'll be moving into our final layers of the build, which will be layers 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So with that, let's go ahead and move into layers 7 through 11. Alright guys, moving into our final layers here, we have layers 7 through 11. To get started with here, we're going to place down a skeleton skull on top of this glass pane, followed by an end rod out to both sides from that skeleton skull. We then also want to place down a stone stair here in the center, then 2 stone blocks going back, and then another stone stair here on the very end. On the side of this last stone stair, we're going to place down a skeleton skull to both sides, and then we're going to place down 2 light gray stainless panes going forward on the sides there of those 2 stone full blocks. We then also want to place down a diorite wall to both sides like so. If you're on Java, we can also go ahead and modify our glass panes here to actually not connect up to those walls. So kind of a nice technique here. Again, it will take some playing around with the debug stick on your end, but once you figure it out, it's pretty straightforward, and you can use this to basically create these independent connections, and it kind of makes the build look a little bit nicer there. You can also use skeleton skulls here instead if you don't want the glass panes connecting. Again, a different alternative for you guys if you want to make that work, but the walls here are going to be best for this situation. And we're also going to place down gray carpet in these 2 corner blocks. After that, we then want to go ahead and continue working our way back. We're going to go ahead and grab some acacia wood buttons and some flower pots. We're going to place down a row of 3 of acacia wood buttons here, a flower pot to both ends, and then we're going to place down an acacia wood button like this going back on both sides. We'll then grab ourselves some light gray carpet. We're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 going around, and then 1 out in the corners there to both sides. Now for this section back here, we have our phalanx system, or our Stewiz. This right here will be a diorite wall. And if you're on Java, we'll place a block that's kind of off from it from the side there. We'll grab a tripwire hook, place on the side of the block, and then we can then rotate it like so by doing its facing and changing its movement like that. Again, if you are not on Java, you can use a snow block with a tripwire hook coming off of it, or just have the wall there. Either one will work, but that's kind of a nice detail there again for Java players. After that's all done, we want to go ahead and then grab ourselves a birchwood fence post. We're going to place down a fence post here, and then a birchwood fence gate behind it. We're going to open the fence gate toward that wall like so. To both sides of the fence gate, on top of those light gray stained glass panes, we're going to place down a end rod like so. Going up from this, we're going to place down a birchwood fence post on top of this fence gate, and then we're going to place down a skeleton skull, which will be coming off the fence post here toward the front. Just like that. And then we're going to place down a birchwood fence gate out to both sides. On top of this birchwood fence post, we're going to place down a stone brick stair. And then to the sides of the stone brick stair, we're going to place down a iron bar. So 1, and then a second iron bar going up. So just like that, 1, 2, and 1, 2. Then continuing on, we're going to go ahead and go to this section here. We're going to go ahead and grab a redstone repeater. We're going to place it here in the center on the stone block and separate the notches from each other like so. We'll also go ahead and grab ourselves item frames. We're going to place down an item frame here on these glass panes, and then we're going to place down an iron bar in those item frames like that. And with that all done, that right there is going to complete layers 7 through 11, and with that, that'll complete my tutorial here for the redesign for the USS Independence-Class Littoral combat ship. Hope you guys do enjoy this build and are able to put it to good use. If you do not use this build, I do ask that you guys give me proper credit for it. This can be anything from the sound of the build to my channel or this video if this does appear on any social media sites. As long as you guys give me proper credit for it, you're free to use it for projects you guys are working on. Overall, enjoy the build, have fun with it, and all that fun stuff. And again, a big special thanks to Patreon supporter Moss for making this tutorial possible. And as always, feel free to check my Patreon page. Link is always in my video descriptions. With that, thank you guys again so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This has been Garrett204, and I'll see you guys next time.